Hi there, I'm Elizabeth Ritchie with Rambana Ritchie Immigration Attorneys. Today is April 29th. My video today is about the new handbook for employers, the M-274 that came out yesterday. I encourage all employers, whether you have alien workers or not, it applies even to those who have a purely U.S. citizen or U.S. citizen permanent resident workforce, to read the handbook, to study the handbook, and be familiar with the handbook. The reason for that is even though as employers you're not deputized ICE agents and required to know what a valid ID might have, a holographic star or not, you have to reasonably know and make determinations. So the handbook will help you do that. And it's about the I-9 form. The I-9 is a form that all employers have to have on file for their employees, regardless of their immigration status. And what the form does is it verifies a worker's identity and eligibility to work. And I do a lot of I-9 work, and a mistake I see all the time is that on columns A, B, and C, the employer completes all three columns or the wrong combination. So column A is a document like a US passport that confirms the worker's identity and eligibility to work. So a passport does both of those things. But B and C are identity for B and eligibility to work C. So the form requires either column A be completed or columns B and C, not A, B, and C, not A and B, or A and C. That is by far the biggest mistake I see employers make. And if it's done enough, it can result in fines 10, 20, 30, or even a couple $100,000. And I'm talking about for small businesses. Again, even if those workers are lawfully in your employ. Another point I want to make is that the Spanish version of the Form I-9 can only be used as a guide for work outside of Puerto Rico. So if your worker is a Spanish reader and they're doing work outside of Puerto Rico and Florida, for example, you can show them the Spanish I-9, which coincides with the English form, and they can use it to fill out the information on the English form. Only the Spanish version is for use for work performed in Puerto Rico. Let's see, what else can we guide you on for purposes of the I-9? If you can stick to the A or B and C, that will prevent a lot of problems down the road. You can never backdate a form. You can certainly make notes that you reviewed the 274 and then learned that you did something wrong as a result and you made some kind of corrective action in the file. You'll want to show good faith if you are audited by ICE. And if they serve you with a warrant, you have 3 days to respond. Usually they start off doing that. They'll ask for your documents and then you'll receive a notice of suspect documents that will outline what exactly is incorrect about the forms. And then you may be given a fine. Sometimes if you're not given a fine, you're safe, for, at least for the time being, and you have the ability to move forward in a correct way and know that you're on the radar. Otherwise, you can be levied a fine, which generally is negotiable. Sometimes you can knock as much as half off, and you can make payments over time. There are some considerations now during the coronavirus where they're considering more time than ICE has in the past, and that's up to the special agent at the particular ICE office to decide whether to extend that consideration. But it is certainly something that you should negotiate if you are faced with a fine, so you're not paying the entire fine amount up front all at once. You may have an interest-free or a low interest payment or much more favorable terms than something out of pocket immediately. So the I-9 is a very, it seems like it's an easy form, it actually is not, and a little mistake can be very costly. So I strongly encourage you to read the new guidebook that came out yesterday on the 28th, and you can find it online. You can find the USCIS website has posted, as with all their forms, online under forms, uscis.gov under forms. And you can see the actual form in English, the actual form in Spanish, and instructions for both forms. It's something that can be misleading and deceptively simple and cause a lot of problems. So please educate yourselves regardless of whether you have immigrant workers or not. So you are in a good position if you ever are audited and have a good defense if a fine is ever levied against you. Best of luck with your I-9 practices. If you have questions about I-9 compliance, please call 224-4529 is our local number. That's 850 area code. We are open with precautions. You're welcome to email me, elizabeth@rambana.com, or of course, post a comment or a message with your question about this topic or something else you'd like me to talk about. Thank you.